next song I wrote for a friend of mine. I'm not a very prolific songwriter. I've written 4 songs of my own. I've helped with a few other songs with some friends, but it seems to be about one every year and a half, maybe. So that song is probably 4 or 5 years old. This next song I wrote for a friend of mine that died from ALS, which is more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's I forget what the ALS stands for, but it's atrophy. It's muscle atrophy. If I understand it correctly, it's a breakdown in your nervous system, so your nerves can't communicate with your muscles. When your muscles don't get exercise, they start to just deteriorate, basically. So ALS. So my friend Joe was a pretty rugged, probably 240, athletic build, construction guy. Was in the middle of kind of taking over the family business. His father had an excavating business. Joe was a year below me in school. Didn't really know him until I was an adult, and I was doing tree work at the time. We'd end up on the same jobs. They'd dig foundations, we'd clear lots. But I remember when I found out Joe was sick, I made a point to stop him because I didn't know where he was in his relationship, if he had a relationship with the Lord. After, I don't know, it may have been 5 or 10 minutes. So we were acquaintances, but not really close. He began to ask me about my relationship with the Lord, like, was I okay? You know, so that gives you a little idea who Joe is. And so, through his sickness, more and more would stop. And I would read to him sometimes. I would play. But just a fabulous person. So, Lou Gehrig's has no cure, and it eventually just wears you down to where you can do the most minimal functions, like you can't, So Joe went from somebody that I wouldn't wrestle with to somebody that needed help up out of a chair to somebody that, a year later couldn't get their hand to their mouth to, feed themselves to. Maybe a year or two later, his speech, you really had to strain to understand what he was saying. It was kind of a hoarse whisper and slurred. So in the end, Joe moved out of the house that he owned and moved back with his folks, and he died from asphyxiation. He couldn't clear his throat. So I'm doing bad even for me tonight. So after watching, this slow, steady march, the night that Joe died, I stopped to talk to his folks. His mom shared with me, his last moments, which this may sound strange, but it tells you a little bit what I'm thinking about when I sing. Like the last, I think it was the night that he died, not the moment he died, but his mom was brushing his teeth. She said he bit his toothbrush right in half. And that was one of the last things he could do was open and close his mouth. And I think he was frustrated, and this is all presumption on my part, but, he couldn't talk, maybe, and this is irrelevant, but I was thinking, maybe she was doing something he didn't quite like, or it was his last thing that he could do, and I just remember, right up to the end, he was going to, people would help him go to swim therapy, because in the water, you're, less gravity, he could do a little more. special diets to not, lose any more muscle, and his parents did. I mean, every day was just a long dance. Like, I remember watching his father. He had a kind of like a nylon strap, like something he would tie things down with, but a big wide one around his waist, and you'd have to, like, kind of, about halfway through this process, you kind of stand on his toes and pick him up by that strap, and then he could kind of teeter around. And I remember watching his dad take about 7 minutes to get him from the wheelchair to the bathroom, about from here to the first chair, and just what a dance that was. So I'm just trying to paint a little picture to set up his mom. They took him to France to healing pools, just because you never know. The healing masses every Monday night. And so his mom at the end of our party that night was just tell me the whole Joe's last moments, and how ended that with she ended that tell me that she just felt like that she didn't do enough, like didn't expect this to hit. So to me, hearing that was like a big red flag, crazy. And shortly after that, I left, and again, went home with that on my mind. But the song actually came pretty fast. They'd asked me to play at his funeral, so that was kind of cool. It felt like. Often when somebody dies, you wish you could do something for the family, and what do you say or what do you give that's adequate? And so this song I was trying to write from Joe's perspective. I'm just gonna stop and try to start singing. So it's just to try to answer that at first. Mama, I so want you to know how much your love has always meant to me. You are so beautiful and strong. You amaze me all along. And through it all, you taught me to believe. Through any doubts and all your fears, you washed me with your tears. You carried me to Jesus on your knees. And I think I gave it all I had. But it was so hard to let go. Even when for so long it hurt so bad, I loved you so. I loved you so. And Dad, to me you always were the man of steel. And all my life I knew that you were strong. What I didn't know, my sickness would reveal. How you could carry me through hell and never let me down. And I think I gave it all I had. But it was so hard to let go. Even when for so long so bad. I loved you so. I loved you so. Now we've been waiting for so long for this awesome day to come, when I can stand up and lift my hands in praise, and with my voice now loud and strong, I can sing salvation song of unending love and amazing grace. And I hope you know I'm giving that all I have, but it was so hard to let it go. Even when for so long it hurt so bad. I loved you so. 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 And I still love you so.